Right now, the world isn't disrespecting you by accident. It's doing the math. You made yourself cheap to mishandle, free to access, predictable to provoke. They don't price what costs them nothing. They don't fear what never bites. They don't remember what doesn't leave a mark. You think the answer is to shout, to clap back, to stand up for yourself with speeches that make you feel alive for 5 minutes and poorer for 5 months. That's not the darkest way. That's the loudest way. Loud is easy to film, easy to frame, easy to forget. The darkest way is colder, quieter, surgical. It's not revenge, it's re-engineering. Machiavelli wouldn't tell you to explode. He'd tell you to disappear strategically, to remove oxygen from the flame and let the room choke on the cost of losing you. The darkest way to handle disrespect is not to punish people. It is to punish the behavior by altering the economics that make it possible. You don't yell, you don't beg, you don't educate, you change access, you change price, you change consequence. Disrespect is a signal, a public audit of your boundaries. It announces what people believe they can get away with around you. Today, you stop arguing with signals, you start editing them. Understand the first brutal truth. Disrespect is rarely personal, it is positional. People disrespect what they believe they can survive losing. They test where the walls are. If nothing breaks their hand, they write their name on your skin. You taught them that with your availability, your explanations, your need to be understood, your habit of staying in rooms that have already told you your price. No more. This is not about rage. Rage is a sale. They buy it and own you. This is about restraint with teeth. Here is the shape of the darkest response, the one they never see coming because it makes no noise. Freeze, audit, reframe, price, withdraw, replace, enforce. Freeze. You do not leak emotion. You do not defend your name in the room that disrespected it. You let silence sit like a blade on the table. You breathe once, lower your pitch, and say almost nothing. Audit. You take mental notes as if you are the historian of the moment. Who did it? Who watched? Who benefited? What time? What policy did they test? What did you allow? Reframe. You tell yourself what is true and unacceptable. I wasn't attacked. My standard was measured. You move the problem from their mouth to your law. Price. You decide what the next touch will cost. Not feelings, terms, fees, distance, access windows, scope changes. The currency of consequence. Withdraw. You do not storm out. You evaporate. You cancel favors. You close the informal channels. You return to written terms. You stop lending your name to rooms that spit on it. Replace. You redirect the energy you once burned proving yourself into assets that compound. A case study, a cleaner offer, a wait list, a higher floor. Options that make your no cheap. Enforce. You end on policy, not on a lecture, not on a threat, on a sentence that doesn't ask permission. That is the skeleton. Now put muscle on it. What does freeze sound like in the wild? They snipe at you in a meeting, smiling at the table. You do not explain your worth to an audience that came for entertainment. You say, calmly, that's incorrect. The decision stands. Then you stop talking. Your pause is an invoice. Let them pay it with discomfort. What does audit look like? After the meeting, you don't send a paragraph explaining your feelings. You write a list only you will see. Who interrupted? Who let it happen? What rule you never stated? What window you left open? What access you gave for free? Disrespect grows in the garden you forgot to fence. Reframe? Low cost is not a tragedy. It is a number you set. Numbers move. Price? This is where softness dies. Late messages pay a rush fee. Unscoped work moves to an add-on. Interruptions end the meeting. Reschedules go to the back. Deposit before calendar. Scope creep becomes phase 2. Public challenges cost private access. Correct. Difficulty is the price of mishandling you. Withdraw. They feed on your presence. You starve the farm. No instant replies. No unrecorded decisions. Everything moves to the corridor with cameras, email, invoices, calendars, contracts. They'll say you're cold. Cold is controlled. Cold keeps medicine clean. Replace? Every time you start to type a defense, you build an asset instead. Publish outcomes, announce openings, sharpen the offer, raise the floor, create a wait list, build 2 more lead sources so your spine is not rented to anyone. Options turn disrespect into an expense the room can no longer afford. Enforce? This is where you speak like weather. That's phase 2 or an add-on. Rush rate or standard date. We are off mission. No debate, no diary, decisions. Yes, anger is evidence of price. Anger is the sound a room makes when gravity arrives. Machiavelli, stripped of memes, was writing about custody. Custody of the treasury, custody of the throne, custody of the law. Your treasury is your time and terms. Your throne is your mission. Your law is your standard. The darkest answer to disrespect is the restoration of custody. You do not throw a tantrum in the court. You close the gate to the treasury. You sit back down on the throne. You weld the law to your calendar. Let me be explicit about what you stop doing from this moment, because every old habit is a free buffet for disrespect. You stop educating adults who are invested in not learning. You stop explaining your price. You stop praising people who test you publicly. You stop solving their upstream mismanagement with your downstream panic. You stop treating urgent like a spell. You stop hoping they will be different next time without changing terms this time. And here is what you begin doing immediately. You begin talking in choices, not essays. You begin treating your name like a limited resource. You begin holding 5 seconds of silence after every decision. You begin ending meetings the moment the law is mocked. You begin writing everything down and then making it cost to change. You begin rewarding alignment with access, not feelings with discounts. No, cruelty harms people. Clarity harms fantasies. Their fantasy was that you were free. You corrected. Let's go darker because you asked for it. The cleanest punishment for disrespect is absence that produces economic pain. Not because you ghost out of spite, because you removed the subsidy that made their behavior rational. You used to answer instantly. They used you for speed. You used to fix for free. They used you for scope. You used to smile through insults. They used you for entertainment. Now you charge for speed, price for scope, and end entertainment. You don't get back at anyone. You get back your leverage. The room will attempt 3 manipulations to pull you off the path. Guilt. Wow, you've changed. Then you sit in the silence they paid for. Flattery. No one does it like you. You say, thank you. Then you shut your mouth. Threats. You say, understood. Then you end the call. You don't escalate. You eliminate. But what about the personal sphere? Friends, family, peers you still want in your life? The darkest way is also the kindest in the end, because it separates users from allies fast. With the people you love, you keep the law and soften the voice. I'm closed this week. I'll help if we define the outcome and deadline. If they love you, they adapt. If they loved your weakness, they leave. Either way, you stop bleeding. You want language you can say without shaking when the test arrives? That's incorrect. The decision stands. Rush rate or standard date. We're off mission. You think you need a paragraph. You need a pulse like stone and a mouth that closes on time. You will still feel the heat. You will still want to explain. Your throat will itch for approval like a drug. That's withdrawal. Let it pass. Do not feed it with words. Every time you hold the silence after a decision, you make the room pay a small debt to reality. Every time you end the meeting when the law is mocked, you teach at a price they will remember. Every time you enforce the fee, you raise the floor beneath your feet. That is the darkest victory. Not a clip of you shouting, not a speech they applaud and ignore. A rumor that makes people careful. You wanted a sentence to hold when the disrespect hits and your chest wants to burn the room down. Say it inside your skull. Breathe out. Choose silence or price, not speech. Machiavelli would smile at that, because power is not in volume, it is in custody. Custody of access, custody of narrative, custody of self. From here forward, your goal is not to be liked by people who benefit when you're soft. Your goal is to become expensive to mishandle. Expensive doesn't mean cruel. It means measured, predictable in the only way that matters. Mismanagement leads to endings. If you need proof this works, look at your own life. The people you respect most are not the ones who forgave everything. They are the ones with a quiet wall you never tested twice. Become the wall. The rest is theater. In the next part, we will turn this doctrine into a system you can run under pressure. The one-line counters that end power games in seconds. The aftermath protocol that converts every slight into leverage. And the exact micro cues, breath, pitch, posture that make your silence feel like law. Watch closely. Right now, your problem isn't disrespect. It's the lack of a machine that makes disrespect expensive. You need a system, cold, repeatable, boring in the best way. Speeches don't fix culture, systems do. Here's the system. Run it without emotion and the room will recalibrate. The black box, what runs every time. Detect, diagnose, decide, deliver, document. Detect is simple. A boundary is touched. A tone crosses a line. A tiny tweak sneaks in. A low anchor lands on the table. Your pulse spikes. Your throat wants to explain. That's your alarm. Diagnose. Which law was tested? Access, price, scope, timeline, authority. Don't name the feeling. Name the law. Decide. Price the violation. Is it a fee? A forward date? A scope reduction? A closed door? Choose one. No double punishments. No emotional interest. Deliver. One sentence. Silence after. Let them pay with discomfort instead of your breath. Document. Screenshot. Timestamp. Clause referenced. One line in your ledger. Why? Because policy without paper dies in the next storm. When you're under heat, your mouth will reach for paragraphs. Replace paragraphs with protocols. Here are your clean counters. The one-liners that end most games in under 10 seconds. Low anchor. We can reduce scope to match your number or keep scope at my rate. Scope smuggle. That's phase 2 or an add-on. Urgency bomb. Speed is available at the rush rate. Public probe. That's incorrect. The decision stands. Ghosting. We'll close your file Friday. Process fishing. We discuss goals, constraints, and budget. Boundary hit twice in a row. We're off mission. No signer in the room. Who can authorize funds? Notice the shape. Short, binary, final, silence. You aren't trying to win an argument. You are making mishandling you feel heavy. Now we upgrade your aftermath protocol into something unbreakable. In part 1, you learned freeze, audit, reframe, price, withdraw, replace, enforce. Here we attach triggers and deadlines so you don't forget when it's inconvenient. Freeze, 0 to 60 seconds. No defense, no extra words. Lower your pitch by 1 note. Let the last sentence sit 5 seconds. You don't fill the gap. They do. Audit, within 15 minutes. Write 5 bullets. Who acted? Who enabled? What law was tested? What you allowed? What it cost? No poetry, just facts. The sting reduces when the brain has a label. Price, within 24 hours. Pick the consequence. Rush fee, scope carve-out, waitlist move, deposit first, no stack meetings. Pick one, calendar it, invoice it. Do not stack punishments to feel better. Withdraw immediately after pricing. Shut the informal routes, no DMs for decisions. No late-night approvals. Everything returns to where policy lives. Email, invoice, calendar, contract. Replace, same 24 hours. Build or publish an asset that compounds. Case study, offer page, FAQ with teeth, waitlist form, terms addendum. Options erase neediness. Neediness attracts disrespect. Enforce, next interaction. You say the sentence once, you end if mocked. If you wobble here, you teach them your log is a costume. Now let's armor your voice. Your throat will lie to you when you're hot. Replace the lie with choreography, micro cues for steel. Exhale before you speak. Drop your pitch one note. Cut your sentence length in half. No rising tone at the end. No filler. End with a period and count 5. If they interrupt, stop. Look, finish once. If they interrupt again, end the meeting. You will not be remembered as rude. You will be remembered as real. Tape it to your monitor. You are not a novelist. You are a custodian of law. Now for the calendar, the place disrespect breeds before it speaks. 2 windows a week, published, predictable. Everything else is closed. Missed appointments move to the back. Reschedules incur a fee. No deposit, no date. No signer, no meeting. No scope, no commitment. It's not. It's gravity. People don't hate gravity, they plan around it. The answer is simple. Exceptions are priced or scheduled. Let's adapt this system to 3 arenas: clients, teams, and the personal world where guilt hides. Clients. Stop narrating to feel useful. Post verdicts, dates, and links. 1 decision per message. 1 link, 1 date, 2 sentences or less. Teams. Route decisions to the source. If people insist on back-channel games, you don't rage, you log, you notify, you escalate once, and you end access. The organ learns by incision. Personal. Friends and family get warmth with a gate. I'll help if we define the outcome and deadline. If they love you, they honor the gate. If they loved your softness, they complain. Learn quickly. Let's run a few live scenarios so your hands stop shaking in theory. Scenario: the bosses stretch. Take on this extra scope. You: what metric earns the title? Who signs it? If they blur, price the stretch. I'll accept with title and comp or keep current scope. No anger, just choices. If they push community guilt, be a team player, you anchor. My team play is outcomes. Outcomes require authority. Title and comp or current scope. Scenario: the panel cutoff. Moderator interrupts twice. A peer corrects you mid-sentence. You: we're off topic. The answer is A. Stand, leave. Exits teach faster than speeches. You: late arrivals move to the back of the line. The favor is out of scope. Add-on is X. Patterns die when price arrives. You: rush review is available at the rush rate. Silence is the receipt. You asked for the darkest method. Here it is in 1 knife line. You do not punish people. You punish incentives. Remove the subsidy. Add the fee. Close the gate and on time. Repeat. Disrespect will mutate. Guilt will dress up like morality. Flattery will dress up like trust. Threats will dress up like urgency. Then stop. Flattery script. Thank you. Then stop. Threat script. Understood. Then stop. Don't tug the rope. Drop it. Data keeps you honest. Feelings lie for the first 2 weeks as you detox from approval. Track 5 weekly numbers. Silence count. Enforced 5-second pauses after your decisions. No ratio. Clean, 1-line no decisions issued without apology. Window integrity. Percent of protected hours kept. Scope discipline. Number of tweaks priced or moved to phase 2. Aftermath leverage. Number of no events converted into compounding assets. You're being captured. Correct within 24 hours. Raise the rate on the next slot. Add a clause to your terms. Shut a leaky corridor. Post a case study. Your culture is curing. Don't let it rot. Rituals cement identity faster than inspiration. Morning, 5 minutes of stillness before your first word. Midday, One deliberate walk where you slow your pace by a third. If you can't write them, you didn't do them. Fix tomorrow's calendar tonight. What about the apology itch? Use the replacement rule. When you want to apologize for existing, replace it with precision. Sorry to bother becomes Decision A. Precision honors the room more than apology ever did. What about kindness? Kindness is not casualty. Kindness is scheduled, scoped, and sustainable. You give it from a treasury you guarded, not from a pantry you left open. Machiavelli again, without the meme. He did not celebrate cruelty. He celebrated control. Appear generous. Be governed by rules. Appear approachable. Be guarded by gates. Appear flexible. Be welded to mission. That's you now. Not louder, heavier. A final set of phrases to burn into your tongue so it does not betray you when heat arrives. Because is a bribe you pay to be allowed to be clear. You will slip. You will over-explain. You will gift scope to stop a stare. You will answer late-night messages to feel useful. When you relapse, you do 3 things within 24 hours. Neutralize. Raise the floor, add the clause, close the window, and the thread. If you skip this, relapse becomes culture. Culture is heavier than courage. Here is the quiet miracle you'll see by week 3. You say less. Rome slow down. People speak carefully. They wire first. They ask for openings, not for your evenings. Disrespect doesn't vanish. It just moves where the prices are lower, away from you. You'll also discover this. The people who stay are better. They align. They decide. They pay. They don't test your spine because they brought one of their own. That's the point. You were never trying to win everyone. You were trying to sort everyone. The darkest way to handle disrespect isn't dark at all when you're inside it. It's clean. It's calm. It's quiet rooms and calendars that obey. It's 5 seconds of silence that say more than 5 paragraphs ever could. Hold the line. Hold the silence. Hold the price. In the final part, we'll pressure test the machine in live confrontations. Public disrespect that turns on a dime. Private power plays that die in 1 sentence. How to vanish without creating enemies. And the final command that splits your old world from the new one, exactly in your competitor's style. Watch closely. Right now, the room isn't trying to defeat your arguments. It's trying to purchase your reactions. Disrespect is a buy button. They press it and watch you deliver free explanations, free speed, free access. That's why they keep pressing. The market pays where the product ships. Not anymore. This is the pressure chamber. This is where the machine you built runs under fire, where you stay cold without becoming cruel. You win the terms the moment will have to obey. Hook in, because after this, no one gets to spend you with a sentence. We begin with the worst scenario, public disrespect with witnesses, private messages waiting to weaponize your reply, and a deadline breathing down your neck. The old you would flare. The new you will freeze, frame, and finish. Freeze means you refuse the auction. Your face doesn't twitch. Your voice drops a note. You let 5 seconds pass after the insult like a black flag being raised over the room. Then you frame. You don't argue with the story they told. You replace it with law. That's incorrect. The decision stands. If they push again, do not perform. Repeat the decision. Name the mission. End the scene. We're off mission. Stand. Leave. Let the echo change their posture for free. You call that harsh? It's not. It's a tuition fee for people who study by breaking things. Next, the private ambush. Back-channel threads. DMs full of context. The friendly loophole where disrespect hides in kind words. You do not educate privately what was broken publicly. You return the issue to the corridor with cameras. 1 email, 1 decision, 1 line, 1 link, 1 date. We'll reconvene with the decision owner. Deposit posted by Friday. Short, Final. No diary. Now the midnight panic. An urgent ask that was born from someone else's mismanagement. The old you sprinted. The Rome learned you were for rent. The new you prices oxygen. Rush review is available at the rush rate. Silence after. Let them pay with a choice instead of your sleep. Let's run the full gauntlet. 5 live confrontations and the exact sentences that end them. Old you, laughs, explains, bleeds. New you, correct, rules protect outcomes. Then you stop. You don't sell your standard to buy a laugh. Confrontation 2, the budget bait. We love the work. Could you just meet us at X? Old you, defends totals, tells stories, discounts dignity. New you, we can reduce scope to match your number, or keep scope at my rate. Silence. You do not perform a TED Talk. Policy. Confrontation 3, the authority bypass. A stakeholder reroutes decisions around you to a friendlier ear. Old you, debates and DMs. New you, decisions resolve at the source. If they insist, you cancel. Lessons carved in empty calendars last longest. Confrontation 4, the public correction. You deliver a verdict. Someone interrupts with volume, not substance. Old you, fights on their stage. New you, that's incorrect. The decision stands. Exits are sermons. Rome's remember exits. Old you, glows, bends, pays. New you, thank you. Compliment accepted. Frame intact. You're starting to see it. The darkest way disarms by making mismanagement expensive, not dramatic. But the room has tricks left. It will try to cloak disrespect as virtue. Then shut your mouth. If they truly care about the team, they will care about law. Payment proves priority. Proof follows deposit, not before. Crowds don't carry your consequences. Speed is available at the rush rate. If over is true, they'll pay. If it isn't, they were buying your panic. Now we move to the quietest weapon you own, vanishing without creating enemies. You don't disappear to punish. You disappear to price. You withdraw from unscoped conversations. You decline meetings without signers. You route every change request to an add-on. You publish 2 windows weekly. You stop narrating your process in public. You post verdicts, not drafts. You return to silence when the sentence lands. Absence is not hostility, it's accounting. You don't announce the exit, you enforce the entrance. Openings are Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 10. Gate announced, drama unnecessary. What about reputation? You don't defend in rooms you didn't enter. You publish outcomes. You let results become your rumor mill. The right people call hard a blessing. They came for outcomes, not access. Now we integrate the machine with the man. Because systems fail when identity panics. Your nervous system will shake the first time you enforce. It will beg for a reason to add after your sentence. Replace because with breath. Exhale. Count to 5. Let the silence teach what your extra words would have sold. Neutralize. Within 24 hours, raise the floor on the next slot. Add the clause. Shut the leaky corridor. End the thread. Publish an outcome. If you delay, relapse turns into culture. Culture is gravity. It will drag you back down. Metrics keep you honest when feelings lie. Track these 5 weekly. Silence count. How many 5-second pauses after decisions? No ratio. How many clean no decisions without apology? Window integrity. Percent of protected hours kept. Scope discipline. Number of tweaks priced or moved to phase 2. Aftermath leverage. Number of slights converted into assets. Case study shipped. Terms added. Rate raised. Waitlist growth. You're being captured. Correct inside 24 hours. Let's step into the darkest theater. When the disrespect comes from someone you can't replace tomorrow. A boss, a partner, a whale client, a family elder. The principle stays. The choreography softens. Boss, take the scope. You, what metric and date earned the title? If they blur, I'll accept with title and comp or keep current scope. If they push community guilt, my team play is outcomes. Outcomes require authority. Title and comp or current scope. Partner, let's flex the contract. You, flexibility must protect the mission and treasury. If they balk, then we keep the contract. Partners who fear clean endings were feeding on your fog. You, that's phase 2 or an add-on. If they threaten to leave, understood. Most whales respect harpoons. You are one. You, I don't do unscoped favors. If they push guilt, I'm flexible by plan. Love with a gate is still love. Now what about making peace? What about forgiveness? Where does that live? Forgiveness lives in results. You don't carry grudges like a hobby. You carry laws like a spine. If someone apologizes with behavior, pays the fee, honors the gate, respects the scope, you open the door they earned. You don't lecture them about yesterday's weather. You reinforce today's climate. Kindness without a calendar is how wolves breed. Kindness with a calendar is how kingdoms last. Let's deliver the final drills, the ones that turn cold policy into warm muscle. Drill, 5-second stone. Say a decision, then count to 5 with your tongue behind your teeth. Every day, twice. You're teaching your body that nothing explodes when you end a line. Drill, 2-sentence max. Decisions by email DM must be less than 2 sentences. No attachments unless requested. 1 link, 1 date. The less you write, the more they respect. Drill, gatekeeping Monday. Publish your 2 weekly windows every Monday morning. No exceptions in the first month. After you're steady, price exceptions. The gate begins as practice, then becomes legend. Drill, ending reps. And one thing early every week. A call that drifts. A thread that won't die. A tiny tweak that hopes you blank. Endings educate your world faster than inspiration. Write the date of your next raise. Keep it. Your voice must believe your price. There's one more layer, bait you should set on purpose. Set bait that rewards respect and filters disrespect. Choice kills chaos. Bait 2, the wait list. Publish the next openings and the application. People behave where scarcity is visible. Bait 3, the FAQ with teeth. Post the 5 counters as policy. Deposit before calendar. No signer, no meeting. Rush fee exists. Changes or add-ons. 2 windows weekly. Now your enforcement isn't a mood, it's a link. Bait 4, the case study timeline. Show the clean, boring path you reward. Scope, deposit, window, delivery, result. People who want drama will self-select out. You're training the market to connect refusal with results. By now you see what dark really means here. Not cruel, controlled. Not vengeful, verified. Machiavelli didn't preach tantrums, he preached custody, treasury, throne, law. Your treasury is time and terms. Guard it with gates, not speeches. Your throne is mission. Guard it with endings, not volume. Your law is standard. Guard it with silence, not apology. The world adjusts to what you enforce, not what you feel. A few final scenes to burn in. Scene, they disrespect you, then invite you to drinks. You don't go where you were priced cheap, you go where your law is visible. Send the scope and signer. Warmth returns after weather changes. Scene, they circle back months later, urgent and soft. You have 2 answers. We can move at the rush rate, or the next opening is the 12th. No nostalgia discounts. History is not a coupon. Scene, they praise you publicly after disrespecting privately. You don't reward performance with access. You reward alignment with access, and only after payment. Scene, you feel the old shake, the one that wants to make it right with words. Then you choose price or silence. Never both, never neither. Here's the quiet miracle that follows faithful enforcement. The rooms that remain become precise. The people who stay speak carefully. Money arrives before movement. Decisions land in fewer words. Silence does most of your work. That is the darkest way to handle disrespect. You don't torch fields, you remove the free water. You don't punish names, you punish incentives. You don't shout at the room, you make the room pay rent. From here forward, you speak like weather. You charge like policy. You end like law. You will not be loved by everyone. You will be respected by the ones who can build empires with you. Those are the only ones that matter. Now we close the way a ruler closes. Without apology, without permission, without hurry. Final command. Like this video if you're done letting people spin you with a sentence. Subscribe if you're ready to become the kind of person they can't provoke, can't price down, and can never move without your consent. Because this isn't self-help. This is war.